And a pleasant good afternoon from the Tresco offices here on 17th Street. I'm Ernesto Garcia, and welcome to Let's Talk Tresco. This is our twice a month podcast that we do to let you know what's going on with our friends at Tresco. Tell the stories of the people that are here and they're helping out in our community, in our area, because Tresco is dedicated more than anybody else to serve our area and community by providing some great jobs. And they do that with three big reasons, because when you ask the question, who is Tresco? Their mission says it all. There's three main divisions. There's the Community Support Services Division, which is the Home and Community Waiver Program. CSS provides participants with the support needed to live meaningful and inclusive lives in the community. Services include 24-hour individualized supports in daily routine activities, medical support, nutrition, financial management, transportation, and employment support. There's also children's services that consist of TOTS, early intervention, and day one home visiting programs. TOTS has been founded an early intervention program in Doñana, Sierra County as well, providing families with babies from birth to age 3. And of course, Tresco Works, where they offer community employment opportunities to people with varying disabilities, including veterans and students, through federal, state, and local contracts. And as currently Tresco has over 50 contracts that provide quality custodial grounds and total facility management. That includes everything from HVAC, electrical, welding, plumbing, and services in 12 counties throughout New Mexico. Now, I'm going to bring up the website here. You can see it for yourself and get to know more about it. And this is the website here, Trescoinc.org. There it is, Trescoinc.org, the website. You've got everything you need here, the employment opportunities that we've been talking about. For those that are needing a job, here's where you want to go. And of course, the phone number anytime to reach them is 575-528-2200. For over 53 years, Tresco has been providing professional and individualized services, supports, and opportunities to people of any age with different abilities and differing abilities, their families and communities they serve, providing services in 12 counties throughout New Mexico. Please go to the website and get to know more. Now, I'm going to spell his name out a little bit better on our producer part here, but I want to bring in our guest for today here. And that's going to be Clary. Thank you for joining us, Les, and I'm glad that you're here. And I know that we haven't seen each other in years, and you've done really well aging compared to I have, by the way. Just putting that out there, all right, Les? So, Les,
he would argue with you some days.
Yeah, but you know what? It's been a while. I'm going to have you get closer to that mic there so we can hear you a bit here. And I want to know, Les, I know it's been a while since we've seen you. I think it's actually been a decade or so. Last I saw you, you're running around doing business stuff. Now you're here at Tresco. What brought you to Tresco?
Well, had a change in employment, and I came here, interviewed, and they had good work going on. They have an excellent program, and being a former soldier, a disabled veteran, and a scouter, we have kind of like ideals. We line up fairly well with each other. I like making things that work and making things work. And I like to be part of a team that actually has a mission. These people have a mission of helping people with disabilities, differing abilities, whichever the current catchphrase is. And that's from people like me, a disabled veteran, to people with inability to drive themselves from one place or another, which makes it really hard to hold down a job or even get one. And they can take these people and put them with mentors and teach them how to do a job and provide them meaningful employment, let them feel like they're really part of the community, because they are. They provide a needed service. I currently work with the Highway Division. We do the rest areas in this entire quarter of the state. It's 9 different rest areas, 12 sites. We have people there every day of the year, and they maintain them, they clean them, they stock them. If you ever go to a rest area,
you let me know where the snakes are. That's
they remind you to look out for snakes.
Okay.
They don't keep
And when you get that done, then you've done the most perfect job ever.
They don't keep a steady census of how many there are or where they are, but they do remind you to watch out for them if you walk off behind the buildings. There's areas where you can and areas where you can't, because one of the rest areas is in the middle of a wildlife refuge.
Well, I'll tell you what, listen, the reason I'm asking these questions here, and I want to bring this up here, is because you have this background You come here. How did you even hear about Tresco? Where was the first thought from what everything you were doing before, and how did you first get started here?
Well, actually, a friend of mine works here. His name's Andy, and his name's Andy Taylor, and he's a fellow scouter.
Mhm.
And he had a carpentry project that needed work on. He called me, and in the conversation said, "Yeah, I've got time because I'm currently between jobs." And he said, "Oh, yeah." So we sat down and talked with his boss, Chris, and he said, "Why don't you come in for an interview?" I said, "Okay." So I came in for an interview, and we talked, and then we had an interview with the managers, and they said, "Yeah, he'd fit in with our highway as for repairs." So they brought me on here, and um, I'm, as I say, I'm both part of the people with differing abilities, and I'm part of the support of the people with differing abilities. Uh, I have an odd skill set. I've done a whole lot of things in my life. When I was younger, I worked in the oil field. I worked in agricultural aviation, crop dusting, if you will. Um, I wasn't a pilot. I was ground crew. You don't have to get that scared.
Okay.
But I've operated forklifts, heavy track vehicles, almost every kind of equipment you can imagine. I was in the Army. I ran nightclubs. I did repairs and maintenance out at White Sands Missile Range. I worked for Overhead Door Company. And I have collected this vast array of skills that really come in handy when you're out on a solo job like we get when we're 150 miles out. We go out there, there's not really a whole lot of backup. You take what you need ahead of time if you know what it is, and then you go out there and do the job. There's not always someone else there to help you with the lifting or how do you do this or anything. So having skills across all those areas is fine, but that allows us to keep the rest areas functioning, keep that contract going, and keep the people out there who couldn't get a job very easily without this kind of system to support them. It keeps them employed.
So let me ask a question because I'm going to go a little off from where we're here, but some of the questions I wanted to ask. But how many people are working right now in maintaining this roads and this contract that Tresco has to maintain the rest areas and the highway parts?
I'm not sure I could answer the actual total number. I know there's 3 repair techs.
Mhm.
Me and 2 other guys, we go out and do all these repairs, but we're normally 3 different directions if we're all here the same day. Because between the 3 of us, we actually cover all 7 days of the week.
I'm going to say your job has really got to be some difficulty as to what you find. It's almost like a surprise every time you go, and when you're called out for something because you're like, "How did they do this? What in the world did they do? How did this happen?" But when you go to rest areas, you realize, and that the kids always say it's a lot different from the places I go at home. Yeah, because it's built to last, and they're trying to keep that going. It's not an easy thing to do.
No, and there's some specialized equipment due to the nature of the location.
Hmm.
It's open to the public 24 hours a day, and there's only people there 8 hours a day. So it's got to be able to survive that other 16 hours every day. Uh, People will tear things up. There's just like any place else in town. You'll see people.
Just going to flip it, Stacey. That's okay. There you go.
You'll
All
see
right.
people tagging things and tearing things up, stickers on stuff. Our workers have to deal with that every day, and we go out there and help them, and we repair their equipment. And we have specialized equipment because it's actually designed for places like trains and uh, jails and stuff like that because it's got to really survive some rough treatment.
Yeah.
And the people have to go out there every day, and I always feel sorry for them on a couple of sites, especially on the weekend or the weekdays right after the Memorial Day and Labor Day holidays,
Hmm.
because the 2 directions going home from the lakes get every bit of trash they brought off the campsite with them. I don't know how they get that done in one day on that Tuesday after that Monday holiday. I got a lot of respect for them on that. They're willing workers. They want to work. They show up. It's amazing some of the conditions they show up in. Uh, that snowstorm last week,
Hmm.
I was north last week
You
during
spent quite a
that.
bit of time up north.
I got to see those guys out there trying to get the ice off the sidewalks so people would be safe walking to and from the restrooms. Uh, they had to work in those conditions all day. And up north, it wasn't like it was down here. There was a lot of wind up there with that cold. So it never broke freezing up at Fort Craig or Walking Sands, plus the wind. They probably felt like 10 degrees where they're out there trying to wash things with their hands wet, and nitrile gloves don't really keep your hands real warm because the water gets cold on the outside and it goes right through to your hands. They do a lot of work in a lot of adverse conditions, and they do really good work. They're good people.
Well, and the reason I ask this is because I think we take it for granted. And I know one thing: I am grateful for rest areas. I remember as COVID got started, I would drive between here and Arizona, and the ones in Arizona were closed. They were just like, "Look, we're not going to take the chances. Not going to take any chances." Ours were still somewhat open, and that means taking a lot of chances. But people needed it, and a rest stop area is the difference between a major car accident as well. Sometimes I always like to say, because if you don't have that place to stop, and we take it for granted that we think it's always going to be there, it's not always going to be there. Sometimes they close them. Sometimes things have happened. Sometimes I'm sure you've had to do some major repairs. You're like, no one's coming in here. It's necessary, because if we don't have it, major things can go wrong. I mean, when you're in a car full of, let's just say, 5 to 7 kids, it can go really crazy, and it's so much unnecessary.
You want to talk about the original definition of distracted driving?
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
But yeah, these people do a lot of work out there. They even maintain those shelters and picnic tables.
Mhm.
You may not realize those picnic table benches and tops are painted with a really good paint, and they have to clean that, and they have to clean the graffiti off of it, and they keep that nice for everybody. They paint the shelters. They, just like anything else, they get weathered. They have to be repaired. They even get kind of upset when their cables start to sag from people climbing on them and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So we go out there every now and then and tighten up their cables just so it looks nicer and everyone's safer.
Well, I don't know if they give awards for that across the state, but I would say ours are kept in really good shape. A lot of truckers I know appreciate them. And like I said, the guy who's been driving for 30 days trying to make it to some important deadline appreciates them as well. But I mean, it's a rest area, and it's something, like I said, don't take for granted. But now it's great to see the people who are back there, and you're the guy who makes sure that it's there. So I appreciate that, because, like I said, with all the driving that a lot of people do in this area back and forth, you've seen probably a lot of crazy things. And I'm going to admit that that's something that's, not an easy thing to do. But you enjoyed this. It seems like you really take pleasure in this work.
I really enjoy the people I work with and the work itself. It's important. People come out there. Now, sometimes I don't know why the truckers think their trucks will fit some of the places they think they will, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
But people, even the truck, everybody needs a place to stop and rest. And otherwise, you're going to have vehicles parked on the side of the highway, creating a risk because they're not far enough off. The trucks take up a lot of room. You get people a place where they can stop, take care of their hygiene needs, take a little monkey bath in the sink. We don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But they go out there and they have a place to do it. They have a place to rest, run over. And yes, things do go wrong every now and then, but our people try to make it clean and pleasant. And whenever I'm out there, I've yet to be at a rest area working on something, whether it's a sink, a water fountain, a urinal, main drains, electrical, where some visitor to the rest area hadn't thanked me for how nice the place is and how pleasant it is. And I tell them, these people work very hard at it. Make sure you let them know.
Les Clary is our guest right now. He's joining us here. How long have you been now working for Tresco?
Tresco, later this month, it'll have been 2 years now. I think the 27th.
Oh, wow.
But
so you got started during the pandemic?
Yes. Well, actually, right before it.
Right before it. Okay.
And then, oddly enough, most of our people showed up every day, which I'm sure the state appreciated, but the people out there visiting the rest areas probably appreciated it more.
Oh, yeah.
Because some states, they got scared of the liability, I'm sure, and all of that.
Oh, God, yeah.
Or they had people that refused to show up. These people are very proud of their work, and they have a good, strong work ethic for the most part. Just like most groups, if you give them the chance, they showed up every day. And this is rather interesting company. Part of it being not for profit and its actual function. People go out there and go out of their way and put in that extra effort to keep these contracts going and keep all these people employed. This company actually said thank you with a thanks for showing up for work bonus.
There you go.
Yeah. You hear a lot about, oh, how come the people on welfare and the people on unemployment are getting more money? Well, the government can't really afford to give everyone more money. A lot of companies could, and this one did.
I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
You know,
Like I say, it's a different kind of company. It's a company with a mission. It's part of the community. It's for the community, and they really look after their people as much as they can.
I can tell you're happy here. We haven't seen you happy in a while. You kind of, like you said, you've gone place to place. What does this job mean to you?
It gives me something positive to do, a way I can contribute to the community. It doesn't hurt that it also covers my bills.
Mhm.
Um, I don't plan on retiring for a few years.
Can't
Uh,
imagine you retiring, Les. To be honest, I've known you well enough to know you sit down, do nothing. I don't see that.
uh, I can do it some of these weekends, trust me, especially when
Mm,
it's this cold out.
mm,
But uh, I don't actually have nothing to do when I'm not here either. I just like everybody else, I got my own place to maintain.
mm.
I've got a Boy Scout troop I take care of, um, with the help of two other scouters, and we have other people here that also are involved in that. It's kind of the same like-minded community. We're all about service, and this allows me to continue to serve even outside of my sting activities. Um, we've got some good workers out there. I've grown close to several of them, and we have some interesting relationships because you've got to laugh at some of this stuff. If you don't, you're just going to go crazy. And we've got some fun people out there, and we try to keep from being bored or being boring, but we try to get everything done. And we have people that actually care. Uh, One of the kids up north will actually get on his personal phone and call down here to the office. Hey, we're running short on this. He doesn't wait for his boss, whose job it is to do that. He does it. He's trying to help out, and He's really interested and concerned about doing that, and that kind of permeates this entire company because you can only work with people like that so long and not be a little like that if you weren't already.
What does the Tresco mission mean to you now that you've been here with them? What knowing what they're trying to do, what does it mean to you knowing that you're a part of that?
Well, like I said, I'm part of it on both sides of the house. I believe in the mission. I support the mission, and technically, I'm part of the mission because I am a 30% service connected disabled veteran, and it's my knee. They messed up a repair on it. It'll never straighten out again. Makes me move slower. Really uh, put some dampers on some things I used to be able to do, and there's not every place where they will look past the fact that, well, he doesn't walk like everyone else or as fast as everyone else and still give you a job and let you go out there and do what you can and allow you to do that. At the same time, I get to be part of that mission and giving back and supporting people out there that are have a much more difficult road to hoe than I do. Um, there are people are scared to give a job because they don't know what they're going to say, what they're going to do, what their physical, mental, medical condition is going to.
So then what do you tell them? What do you say to them to say when you're looking for a job and they have these concerns and they're worried about maybe how they walk, how they move around? What do you say to them?
There are people that can help you with this. Go see Tresco, and I also know several other companies, but Tresco is one that can help them starting as youth, starting as an infant, as an adult that's looking for a job, they can find some of the jobs we have. I mean, they do the janitorial services at the federal courthouse. They do repairs and services at health staff. They do janitorial out at White Sands Missile Range. They do grounds at White Sands. They have us out there. They have the workers at the rest areas. They have a whole lot of areas. I can't even name all of them. But there's some place almost anyone will fit. And as long as you're willing to work and really want to, they'll do everything to find you something. Everything they can. They got a whole lot of talented people that's their job. Our human resources people work to find a place for someone to work. If you're willing and you can, the rest of it doesn't really matter. It's people.
And people make the difference in a lot of ways. This is a great company. The more I keep learning, the more we've gone through this journey, the more I talk. I also feel like when people want to know a bit of dependence, having something that's going to last, because the world changes. You've seen it too much. Things change. Change is inevitable. But you're looking to build stability, grow a family, get things done. What do you recommend to somebody, and why should they be a part of the Tresco team?
Because it is a family. Um, our CEO, Chris Boston, doesn't answer to Mr. Boston. As a matter of fact, if you call him Mr. Boston, he'll tell you it's not Mr. Boston, it's Chris. Okay? There's not a lot of corporate politics here. They're not about politics. You won't see anyone in a tie because it's against our dress code. No one wears a tie here. There aren't any quote unquote suits. Chris knows so many people in this company, and there's somewhere around 500 of us. He knows most of them by name, first name. I don't know anyone that's scared to talk to the man.
That's great.
Yeah. My boss gives me instructions. Les, can you go do this?
You're up.
That's my instruction.
There you go.
When I do it, I say, hey, thanks. Appreciate it. I get it over the phone, I get it face to face, and all the way from my immediate supervisor all the way up to Chris.
Les, do you think someone out there watching now or hearing us is going to figure, okay, where's my life going? Maybe something went wrong. Like you said, it was for you and me. Maybe they have something that's out there. Is it just getting over that fear and that hump to take that chance to go and be a part of something like this? And that's really what you got to do. And just one simple phone call or one visit to a website makes all the difference.
Visit the website, learn about the company. They're good people. They're really legitimately concerned. They care. Uh, I actually do get a little emotional when I'm talking about this. They're good people. And they want to help you. There's no one here to be scared of. Um, we've got all kinds of people working here and all kinds of people that they go out and help live their normal lives with assistance in their residence and everything else. But they actually genuinely care.
Got one more question for you because I can tell you get really emotional about this and you really care and it really means a lot. And I think what you're telling people is this has become your family and you can't imagine your life if it weren't here.
More importantly, I can't imagine where a lot of my coworkers would be if it wasn't for this company. I can get a minimum wage job anywhere. They pay me more than minimum wage, but that's not the issue. I could go out and get a minimum wage job almost anywhere. There, especially now with everyone so shorthanded. But would it be a job that really meant anything? Would it really be a job that helped the community, much less individuals. I can meet my bills at a lot of jobs. This job means something.
And to have a job that has meaning and has something that will bring out the best. And like I said, for the hard work that you do, we say thank you, Les. And I'm glad that you're happy here. I've never seen you more happier since the last time I talked to you. And we've seen each other in some pretty strange places.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're here. And I'll leave you on this note, Les. I think that you explain exactly what this journey is about and why people need to think about what their future is and where it's at. And if it's time for that change, make it and do it here.
But if there's anyone out there with challenges getting employment for whatever reason, contact our HR people. They're on the website. Get in touch with them. The phone number's there. Call them. Ask for HR. Tell them your situation. See if they can help you. They want to.
I keep putting it up on the screen so people know, and it's there, trescoinc.org. The phone number is 575-528-2200, 575-528-2200. Les, I appreciate you letting it tell us how this is, and I appreciate how emotional and passionate you are to this thing. At the same time, if you can you fix the rest area around the Lordsburg area? I got to drive there late Friday night. I just want to make sure that there is enough toilet paper there, and you can make sure that dispenser doesn't get taken out.
Well, just because you asked so nicely.
There you go. I'm just making sure. All right. Thank you for joining us, and let's talk Tresco. My name is Ernesto Garcia. We'll join you in a few weeks. Our next episode will be on March 2nd of 2022. Les, they need your help already. Thanks for joining.